This is a test. This station is conducting a test of the emergency broadcasting system. This is only a test.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the honey sauce. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the honey sauce. Don't get that honey sauce on me. I don't like the way it tastes with my chicken wings.
We return you now to your regularly scheduled program.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is going on, everybody? This your man Dre Mac coming to you again with another episode of the Dre Mac Show. 7:30 in the morning Central Time, 8:30 on the East Coast. And if you're on the West Coast, go ahead and get up, because you already know that the early bird gets the worm. And on today, I am going to go over the video from Michael Jackson's attorney that he made. This was from 60 Minutes Australia. But there's some interesting details that he goes over in this when it comes to the Michael Jackson alleged case. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's because he has no skin in the game. I mean, he's a lawyer. He's not going to sit up here and tell, any bald-faced lies. But also in the same breath, I want to preference that there is key things that he says in here that I want you to actually listen to, because we all know that Michael Jackson was acquitted of all charges. But since this Netflix documentary came around, I signed a petition to boycott Netflix. You know what I'm saying? They won't be getting my $27. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why that, Michael has the #1 movie in America, and these people are still trying to slander the name of Michael Jackson. And that is key, because it's not just they hate Michael Jackson. It's with anything, so there's a more sinister plot to this. But hopefully you guys are happy. Hopefully you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Gant over at the Heavy Gant Reaction. But you already know how I do. The real question is, are you
say why you hating on my energy? Say why you hating on my energy? I don't think you wanna be my enemy.
I don't want to.
Count 1, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of conspiracy as charged in count 1 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 2, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 2 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 3, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 3 of the indictment, dated June 13th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 4, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 4 of the indictment, dated June 10th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 5, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 5 of the indictment, dated June 10th, 2005, foreperson number 80. Count 6, verdict. We, the jury, in the above entitled case, find the defendant not guilty of attempting to commit a lewd act upon a minor child as charged in count 6 of the indictment, dated June 13, 2005, for person number 80. Count 7, verdict.
Not guilty. That's all you need to know. So we are going to get into the lawyer's video here soon. But all we know is 14 counts, not guilty. And because of Michael Jackson, you cannot try to get somebody civilly for, let's say, essay. You can't get somebody civilly and try to sue them without having a criminal trial first. So you can't even do that anymore in that area. I think it's Santa Barbara or whatever it is, because of the Michael Jackson trial. And we have to go back to the 93 first accuser. That first accuser, the reason why he did not want to testify in the 2005 trial, because he would have had to pay $20 million back because of admitting, in front of everybody that, you know what I'm saying, that his father put him up to that, and he lied. He had to lie so they could get that money. And remember, Michael Jackson didn't pay that to the alleged victim. The insurance company did. So I want to keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? Before we get into anything, but you know what? Before we get into that, let me see who's all in the house right now. Chrissy Key, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Alvin Rodriguez, good morning. My man Junior Network, good morning. Good morning. Marley Mars up in the house. Good morning. X-Man Xavier Phoenix is up here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My man D Stizzle was up here. Good morning. Tina, aka Mintygasm, is up here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me see. For real, Dr. Dre Jackson show. You's crazy for that. Let me see. I have no idea what your name is, but good morning from America. Let me see. Did I get everybody? Yeah, I did. X-Man, did I get you? If I didn't, good morning again. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. Yeah, I did. All right. Let's do this. You already know. We got to transition over because we got a 45-minute video to break down. So with that being said, y'all know how much I talk. We might be here for a while. But I just, because this is just so ridiculous. What's up, J. Carter? This is just so ridiculous in the fact that this keeps coming up. Like, seriously, why does this keep coming up? Well, when you see the estate, with everything that has been going on, potentially reaching up to $1 billion in assets from everything that has been going on in the last couple of years, don't you want a piece of the pie too? Do you know what I mean? It's just stupid. It's stupid. I'm tired. Exactly. I agree with you. And you know what's funny? Kevin Hart came out and apologized, but when he was getting ready to, they was taking his spot at, what was it, the Oscars, because of the hit the child over the head with a dollhouse because he's gay joke or whatever he did. He apologized hella quick. That's why I don't trust. Let me not get into it because I'm about to get into it. I'm about to really I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't trust none of these celebrities. When I see patterns, I don't trust celebrities. I would trust Cat Williams before I trust Kevin Hart. And I'm sad. I hate to say it like that, but I'm dead serious because he could have easily said no, because they know the jokes that was getting ready to be said before all those writers, those white writers in the room said those George Floyd jokes, and you could say no, we can't do that. Because if you jump up for Cat Williams and mend the fences with Cat Williams, you're telling me you can't stop and say, you know what, we can't do it, George Floyd. Come on now. We can't do it, George Floyd. And if someone felt that way about Charlie Kirk, I'll be like, I get it. You know what I'm saying? If we feel the same way about George Floyd, then, others feel about Charlie Kirk, then I will respect both sides. But what you're not going but what you're not going to do is sit up here and laugh and joke, and I'm supposed to be okay with the rest of it. You know what I mean? But all right, let's do this. Let me shout out the crew members, man. We gonna get this thing rolling, man. Let's go. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. Stop everything you're doing. Go and hit that like button. I know this is probably your first time watching and you probably enjoying everything. Stop fucking on the channel and go and hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos or one of my morning live streams. And for only $2.99 a month, you can be a part of the crew. And shout out to all my crew members that have been holding it down for Dre Mack and the crew since the beginning. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program, now in service. So, go. Bye. All right. So again, if you want to be a part of the crew, man, all you got to do is hit that join button, $2.99 a month. You know what I'm saying? And it helps out the channel so much. You know what I'm saying? That little $3 that you won't see because you ain't supposed to eat that cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's $5. You know what I'm saying? It does help the channel out a lot. It allows me to do this every morning, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let's do this. Let's transfer over, man. Let's get into it, man. Let me go to a quick commercial break because you already know that we got biscuits to bake. I'm not gonna lie, some of this stuff is sad to know about certain celebrities. That's why this one hits home. But again, I'm defending him like I did Jonathan Majors. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in innocence. You know what I'm saying? But let's just do this. Let's transfer over, take a quick 30-second commercial break, and I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mack Show.
We'll be
Right back.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit. Taste the butter spread. Taste the goodness of the biscuit with the butter spread. Get your butter spread all on me. I don't like the way it mixes with my mac and cheese.
We now return to the Transformers.
I legitimately got to make some new. I'm so tired. I legitimately got to make some new whatchamacallit, some new commercials. I'm just tired. Not gonna lie to y'all, man. I am tired. But again, don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's all I ask. It's free. Hit that button. All right, let's do this. Let me share my screen. And let's get into it. And now this is from 60 Minutes Australia. And I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble. I don't think so. But you never know. I'm going to just go for it anyway. Because I believe there's a lot of good information in here that I want people to listen. Now, let me tell you this. I did listen to like the first 13 minutes of this. And then I cut it off. Because I immediately like, okay, there's good nuggets in here. And I want everybody else. I drank some coffee right before I got in here. But what's going on, Wavy Things? Was good. But I stopped and I was like, you know what? There's some good things in here. So let me stop. Let's play it for you guys, man. Let's go.
So Michael Jackson. Now, you were Michael Jackson's defense lawyer.
2019.
Yes. But you were also his friend, weren't you?
Yes, but I knew Michael during a very, very unique and very, very tragic time.
I was his lead criminal defense counsel in his criminal case. And Michael took it very hard to be charged with something that horrific. And to have to go through that kind of a process was very, very difficult for him. So I knew Michael during the worst chapter in his life.
What did you think of him as a person?
He was one of the nicest people I've ever met. Kind, gentle, supportive, very, very sensitive to the needs of others, very interested in healing the world, very interested in helping disadvantaged people. He truly was one of the nicest human beings I've ever met.
It sounds very cliched.
Well, it's very true.
And see, I think you hear that so much about Michael. You've heard it from everybody, from the maids and the security, all the way to his lawyer. You know what I'm saying? His mom. You know what I'm saying? Hell, to a certain extent, his own father. You knew that this dude was just a good dude. You just knew, and everybody said, well, that sounds cliche. If you notice, that's what the first thing said, man, that sounds cliche. That sounds like, and when they tell you it's the truth, they don't want to hear that, because this world doesn't want to, and I think, I want to say Tito said this. The world doesn't, his mom said this. I was watching her interview on 60 Minutes, Australia, also, and this was from 2013. And she says, and I'm paraphrasing this, so forgive me, but basically the world doesn't want good people. The world wants, chaos, but they don't want good people. And I had to really think about that. And I want you guys to really think about this too. When it comes to really good people, nobody really wants that. We say we do until the person is so good, it's too good to be true. And you think they're just, they got to do something. They got to be something. How many of y'all been the friend who didn't smoke, didn't drink, you know what I'm saying, didn't really want to go out, and people didn't even want to fool with you because you was quote unquote, doing too much because you were too good. You know what I'm saying? That made you feel bad that you were doing stuff that was under the contrary.
Michael had a desire to heal the world. He knew he had unique opportunities financially, reputationally, creatively, and he told me that he wanted to make a difference on the planet. He wanted to make it a better place.
Very
it
telling.
Sounded naive and ideal a little bit, but that was Michael. He always was trying to help somebody.
But you've been on the receiving end of a lot of fibs from a lot of people. You really think he was genuine?
I do think he was genuine. I think he was a very kind person. I think he had a troubled early
What's going
life.
on? I'm Robinson.
I think
Shell.
he was denied
Robin
a childhood. I think his family realized what a genius he was at a young age, and his father made him work very hard to perfect his talents. And in the,
is that exactly what we saw? You know what I'm saying? Like, he has no right to lie. This is 2019. You know what I'm saying? At that time, Michael has been gone for 10 years. Why would he just get on the thing and just lie? So I do believe him. I do believe, this account, just for the simple fact from yes, he's a defense lawyer. His job was to defend Michael Jackson. I also believe that Michael Jackson was a horrible human being. I think he would have said that. I just honestly do. Because what else the man can't come back and go get you. His family can't sue you. You know what I'm saying? So, I truly believe in what the lawyer is saying because he has nothing to gain. He's not under retainer. He's not their personal lawyer. You know what I'm saying? He was just a defense attorney at the time. So I do believe everything he says. And, it was a time where I didn't smoke. You know what I'm saying? I didn't drink. I just went to work like hell, like I do now. I always work. But you know what I'm saying? I didn't smoke. You know what I'm saying? I didn't drink. I went to work and came home. And I was called boring. So,
process, I think he felt he was denied a true spontaneous childhood and wished he had had one.
Do you think he's remotely or
snap.
could have been remotely capable of doing any of those things?
The things he's been accused of doing? Absolutely not. I am 100% convinced Michael never abused a child, never harmed a child,
Nope.
certainly never molested a child.
Nope.
I think this is hogwash.
Yeah, and it was a witch hunt. And we all know why it was a witch hunt. Money and to tear him down as far as power. Now, I know the running joke, oh, well, Bill Cosby's getting ready to buy NBC. Michael had he had what Bill Cosby didn't have. He had real power in his profession. That was the problem. I've watched way too much stuff from Michael Franzese when he talks about the mob. You know what I'm saying? There's no doubt in my mind that the entertainment world doesn't work like the mob. There's no doubt in my mind that Hollywood, the entertainment world, works just like that. And if you're just supposed to be a grunt. You're supposed to, make music, do what I say. I have ownership of you. But Michael broke away from ownership a long time ago when he got his masters back. When I talked about this yesterday, from the whole E.T. Deal he did with Steven Spielberg. You know what I'm saying? Then he bought the ATV, publishing, and then bought other people's publishing, and then was able to use that money to give people their masters back. Dog, that's power. You're not supposed to do that. Why did Prince go become a symbol for so long? Did he just want to change his name to the artist formerly known as Prince? Or was he given a bigger story about the power structure, in entertainment? I don't think people remember that part. Let's keep going.
Are you on any sort of retainer at all from the Jackson estate?
No, I'm not on any retainer at all.
So no one's paying you any money to say nice things about Michael Jackson?
The black
No.
bleach?
No.
Yep.
I will always say he was a nice person. He was one of the nicest people I ever met.
But you, of all people, know the smoke and fire argument. Is there any fire?
There's no fire here whatsoever.
Hell, no.
Sometimes, as you know, lawyers have...
There's no fire because the FBI investigated this man and he was acquitted of all charges. You know what I'm saying? They started their FBI investigation in 1993 after the first allegation. You know what I'm saying? They had all that information, that criminal information for all that time, and they found nothing. This is why that documentary is so disturbing, because we already know the verdict. What are you talking about? Which one do you choose? What do you believe? The one that says that he's acquitted of all charges? I thought we lived in America where you're innocent until proven guilty. The guy got proven innocent and you're still after him. But damn it, January the 6th happened, and I don't see documentaries about them people who need to be in jail for insurrection. You don't hear nothing about that. I guess why. I wonder why you don't hear nothing like that. They went after Jonathan Majors after the New York District Attorney's Office had all that information. Jonathan's lawyer told me they had all of that. We could have settled before that. They wanted to drag him in the mud. Why? Because he's a black man and they wanted to prove a point. That's all. Because it was politically driven. Nothing about that. Nothing about Jonathan Major's trial made sense at all. Nobody goes to trial on misdemeanor charges. That's like you getting the speeding ticket and all of a sudden you getting judged by 12 on a speeding ticket. Because somebody wants to push a political agenda. That's it. And then the media is the biggest benefactor of that. Because why? Because every time that you create these articles, you create these narratives, every time somebody comes on your little funky website, whether it's Rolling Stone, whether it's Hollywood Reporter, whether it's, any of that, they get paid. Truth be damned. They get paid. So it tells you what's real. Jared Leto got a weird case. You don't see documentary after documentary after documentary on him. This man playing Skeletor. Let me see. Y'all about to make me go off.
Have to ignore the obvious in order to mount a defense. Would you have represented him if you thought he was a child abuser?
Well, I have represented people in my lifetime that had strong evidence
Facts.
against them. And people
Jace,
always say to me, will you defend someone you think is guilty? And the answer is yes, because we criminal defense lawyers fulfill two functions.
It doesn't matter if Jared Leto is MG. I don't give a damn about that. Jared Leto's a damn super. He's a Hollywood. Him and Jonathan Majors in the same boat. Jared Leto get to keep his career. Not even in the same boat. Jared Leto's cases are worse than Jonathan Majors. Or worse. Man gets to keep his job. What am I missing here? Oh, I know why. Because you already know it's the obvious.
We make sure that innocent people get their justice, that they're exonerated. We also make the system work. I think we have the best justice system in the world. It's far from perfect. It convicts innocent people all the time. All you have to do is look at what DNA has done. All the innocent people that have been released from prison, people serving life sentences, people facing the death penalty, people whose families were devastated by their convictions, to know that this system is not perfect. And to make this system work the best, everybody has to fight for justice. Prosecutors have to do their job. Judges have to do their job. Defense attorneys have to do their job. I believe in making the system work. And I believe that prosecutors, police, governmental agents will be tempted to abuse their power unless they know good defense lawyers are going to expose them and fight back. So
now think about that. Think about how many people, when you're talking about exoneration, who literally gets exonerated more than anybody in America of crimes? Now, I'm trying to tell you, I can look it up and show you who literally goes to jail and gets exonerated the most. G Network, thank you so much for the 1999 super chat. I really appreciate it. Aren't even pretending anymore. They exploit MJ's name for profit while actively trying to destroy his character, all while fully aware of his innocence. Absolutely. Because again, I thought we lived in America where, you know, it's guilty to proven, you're innocent to proven guilty. Unless you're black, then you're guilty to proven innocent. And then even if you are proven innocent, they still say you guilty. Especially if you're a black man. I don't care what y'all talk about. Oh, well, his skin, he wanted to be white. I don't give, he's still black. Still black at the end of the day. And this man is still getting drugged through the mud. And how long ago was that? Like, seriously, this is silly. But y'all already know what I'm doing around here. Thank you for that super chat, though.
Gang bang, gang bang, gang bang.
You are truly amazing. Thank you for your super chat.
Gang bang, gang bang.
All right, let's keep it going.
Believe in making the system work. I don't just handpick cases because someone looks innocent, although I've had a lot of people that certainly did look innocent for sure.
But would you have represented him if you thought he was guilty?
I would have to talk to him. I would have to find out more about the case. The answer is I take criminal cases because everybody deserves a defense. And when I got into this case, I really didn't know what to expect. The whole world was saying he was guilty. The press everywhere was atrocious. Friends told me not to take the case. They said, you can't win it, and the rest of your life and career will be defined by this case. Everywhere you go in the world, people will say, you sent him to prison. I was warned repeatedly, don't take it. And I took the case because I believe in what I do. I believe in the criminal defense profession. I think we had to do a lot more to create freedom and liberty and make the system work than people realize. So when I got into the case, I really didn't know the evidence. I knew what he told me, and that he was absolutely innocent. He said, this is just ridiculous. I never did anything like this. I never could conceive of doing anything like this. And I found him very, very credible, but I reserved my opinion until I dug into the evidence. And the more I looked at the evidence, the more it seemed to me this man was completely innocent.
Like I said, the FBI for black people have been the enemy. Has been the enemy, because look who they taking out as far as our political leaders. And when I tell you that the FBI found nothing of Michael Jackson, that should ring any alarms, unless you're racist tabloids, especially the British tabloids. They care nothing about the truth. You know what I'm saying? They were just mad because a black man was powerful. That's all. That's all it was. That's all it was. A black man who bucked the system. And trust and believe. Those record companies went, you know what I'm saying, are one of the biggest culprits of that. Because if you don't think the record companies was trying to leak information out to the tabloids, you got another thing coming.
You knew, you didn't have to be a genius to figure out that with the whole Michael Jackson phenomena, you knew that trial was going to be a circus, didn't you?
It certainly looked that way. I had watched a little bit of it on television, the case that is, before I got in. And I got a pretty good feeling that this was going to be an unusual event. I wasn't quite sure how the judge was going to handle it. I wasn't quite sure how the local community in Santa Maria, California was going to handle it. But I had a good idea this was going to be a wild scene.
Tom, after all that time, after all those months of deliberations and witnesses and cross-examinations and all the, obviously, the preliminary work that you put in, that moment in the courtroom when they said not guilty, how many times?
14.
14
times.
14 times.
What was that like?
That was one of the most unique, powerful, unusual experiences of my lifetime. I had lived in Santa Maria, California, which is northern Santa Barbara County, which is north of Los Angeles, where I live in California. And I'd lived up there for 6 months. And I'd lived like a hermit for 6 months. I was well aware that the media was following me, that they were trying to film me, and that they would like to see me in a compromising position because the media was against Michael Jackson.
There it is.
And I was in bed.
My bad.
He lost weight.
Sorry.
About the pressure that...
Hold on. Did I miss...
Yeah, that I skipped because...
Hold on.
Michael Jackson say to you?
He said, thank you, thank you.
Hold up. I think I accidentally...
I can't guarantee a result, but I think they're going to...
Damn, how much...
I lived up there for 6 months. And I'd lived like a hermit for 6 months.
Okay.
I was well aware that the media was following me, that they were trying to film me, and that they would like to see me in a compromising position because the media was against Michael Jackson.
The media was against Michael Jackson. And the reason why I brought up, what's up, Tony Robinson? What's up, Andre Ware? The reason why I brought up Jonathan Majors is because when we were covering the Jonathan Majors case, we saw the same thing from the media. It's like the media had it out for this dude, for a guy who never got in trouble prior to the events that happened with the ex-girlfriend. Nothing. Then all of a sudden, this dude's the biggest monster that you ever had. They threw him like a football, all of this stuff. You know, Cheyenne Whitetree from the Rolling Stone and all this other crap that I seen in court. You know, all of this crap. But you don't see that, you know, and I'm trying to tell you, it's a lot of racism that goes into that. A lot of racism goes into that. But you can't say that because then you'll be like, oh, you're just playing the victim. And well, if black people always want to say it's racism, it's racism, it's racism, racism. But if a duck is a duck, won't it quack?
I was in bed in my condominium at 7:30 every night. I was up at 3 o'clock every day. You didn't find me in a bar, a restaurant, a club, anywhere where you could make me look bad. And once the media realized that my lights were out at 7:30, they stopped following me. But I lived like a hermit. The conditions were very stressful. The family was watching the reporting, and the reporting was very biased. And they were very concerned that maybe things weren't going well in the courtroom because of what they saw on television. And I told them, I think things are going quite well. I can't guarantee a result, but I think they're going quite well.
And when they went very well?
They went extremely well. I was very relieved. That day, the 14th not guilty came down. He was acquitted completely. I hugged him. I looked in the courtroom and I saw all these disappointed media faces. People who wanted the drama and the story to continue, and it was over.
Didn't they say that? Didn't the critics say that about Michael Jackson, about the Michael movie? Where's all? It's got to be more drama. It's just they made this man seem like he was just so angelic, and he was just so this, and he was just so that. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Torian? Didn't the critics say the same thing about the Michael movie? Where's the drama? Where's this? And that's why the narratives start coming back out of the woodworks. You know, the guy who did the Leaving Neverland, been trying to do a documentary, you know what I'm saying, another documentary forever. Do you know that he's tied to this Netflix documentary? I literally just seen him post who's associated with this documentary. Yeah, I'm just saying. It's crazy. D. Ezekiel, what's up? You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying this is they want black people to be drugged through the mud in court, because if they can't, what did J. Jonah Jameson say? You don't want to be famous? Well, I make you infamous. I make people hate you. You know what I mean? But Malcolm X talked about the media a long time ago.
Michael Jackson say to you?
He said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Never forget it.
And that was it?
Well, that was it. Well, then I saw him at Neverland later that day. In fact, there was a press conference with the worldwide media that I skipped because I wanted to be with him and his family at Neverland. And he was very, very appreciative. He wanted to hug my staff and thank them for what they'd done for he and his family. Very powerful time.
Did he make any comment to you about the tribulation, about the pressure that he'd been under, or how he viewed that?
You know, he didn't have to. I watched him deteriorate physically and emotionally during the trial. He lost weight. His cheeks became more sunken in. He had a pale color to him. He was very, very sensitive to these kinds of attacks. And you have to remember what he was charged with. He was charged with masterminding a conspiracy to abduct children, to falsely imprison a family, and to commit extortion, which he would never in a million years even dream of doing. He was charged with taking a cancer-stricken child and giving that child alcohol to prepare the child to be molested. These are horrific charges. These are ugly, nasty charges. I think it's worse to be charged with something like this than homicide. I really do. So he took these charges very, very, I mean, he was so devastated by people trying to say he was doing this. And he was so devastated by the prosecution trying to make him look like a criminal mastermind, which was so absurd. He deteriorated.
What's up, Inez? Good to see you over here.
Verdict day, he just looked like a shell of his old self to me.
I'm going to be honest with you. Just think about yourself. And all you've been trying to do is do good for your community. And somebody accused you of something that horrific. Like, it does sound ridiculous. You know, but just think about that. I worked in my community for a long time. And I would have been devastated if somebody would have said that I was out here, you know, on some children. It would have broke me, because I know what kind of heart that I have for my community. So just think of what Michael had. He was on a way larger scale. Being a child star, think about it, like, people forget that Michael Jackson was a child star. All they see is Michael Jackson as the adult. You know what I'm saying? And the narrative that the British media made for the wacko jackos and all of that other crap. They forgot the man was a child star before he became one of the most powerfulest men in the music industry. So to know he came from all of that, you know what I mean? And that's what you accuse him of. it would have broke me too, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. It would have broke me too.
Tom, when you talk about the media being disappointed, and I get where you're coming from, and it's the whole, it sort of goes hand in hand with the whole Michael
Facts.
Jackson image, doesn't it? The whole persona that's built up around him, and I wanted to get some insight from you into
When
that.
I returned to Los Angeles after the victory, Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown Records, who Michael and his family worked with very early in their careers, one of the most successful music producers
I know,
in history.
Bucky. I kind of
invited me
understand
to a
that
private
too.
lunch with he and his children at the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills, and he said to me at that lunch, "Do you know that you cost the worldwide
That's
media
facts.
billions of dollars
There it
when you
is.
acquitted him?"
And listen to this. And you know why the critics was mad, because the allegations wasn't in
in
there.
history.
Listen.
Invited me to a private lunch with he and his children at the Peninsula Hotel in Beverly Hills. And he said to me at that lunch, "Do you know that you cost the worldwide media billions of dollars when you acquitted him?"
That's why they're mad. That's why these people are running back to tweet. Like, they're mad. They want money. They don't care about if guilt or innocence. They want this is money. If Michael's dead, but if it's the state's gonna make money, damn it, I'm gonna make money too. And that's all this is. They don't care nothing about victims. If you think they care about victims, you're stupid. You're daft. This is about bread. And how much money can we get off of this story right now? And the main number one thing, if you want to make some money in this Michael Jackson game, all you got to do is bring up the allegations. Is he really innocent or is he really guilty? You be the judge. In Netflix, after the backlash that HBO went through for Leaving Neverland and Leaving Neverland 2, they pulled it. People forget. They pulled it because Wade Robinson and that other dude were lying son of a guns. They were lying. I'm trying not to cuss. You know what I'm saying? They were liars. They were clearly lying. Clearly lying. Brady Jackson came out. Wade Robinson ain't no good. He a liar. But they didn't care nothing about, again, victims or guilt or innocence or nothing like that. Honey. That's it. It's money. And if you just cost the national media millions of dollars, you think they ain't going to double back?
And that just sums it up. People wanted to make so much money on watching the great Michael Jackson rise high and then splatter.
That's what it is.
They wanted the story to have a miserable ending for him.
Yes.
They hoped they would see him in the courtroom in chains and jail clothes, without makeup, without his hair fixed up, without the clothing he liked to wear. They were looking forward to seeing the final chapter where Michael Jackson gets destroyed.
That's it. And again, when I was covering Jonathan Majors, that's exactly what I felt that they were trying to do to Jonathan. They were trying, you are exactly right, Torian. But I felt like that when it came to Jonathan. They want to see this great rise of this man, right? And we all know Jonathan was on a trajectory, you know what I'm saying, that he was the next guy, the next A-list Hollywood star. But man, when they seen him with, I'm trying to tell you, when they seen him with that white woman, and Jonathan's lawyer told me that they already had those videos. The prosecutor had those videos. So they saw him getting chased by this woman all up and down Fifth Avenue and all of that stuff, all through Manhattan. They didn't care about that. They're showing you we have the power to create you and the power to destroy you. That's what that's about. Because Dana White can punch his wife in front of a camera, nothing happens. Josh Brolin could get into a little, thing over his wife, nothing happens. And if y'all don't think America is past racism, then you gotta be you know, I don't know. Maybe you got a flip phone or something. You don't consume media or something. I don't know.
And it was very disheartening to observe.
So you think it's all tied into money?
Yes.
Yep.
Money and fame and
There
publicity.
It is. There it is.
Money, revenue, ratings, that kind of thing. The 8 days when the jury deliberated at the end of the trial, I would turn on the TV and major networks in America were showing the jail cell they expected him to go to. They were talking about the schedule he would be on, when he would wake up, what kind of food he would eat, what kind of books he'd be allowed to have in the prison, who could visit him, how do they stop him from committing suicide. This kind of stuff was going on every day while the jury was deliberating, and I have to believe it was designed to influence the jury.
I don't know if you guys caught that last part. But they were using images to sway the jurors. I'm gonna play that because I told you I'm gonna be here for a while. Because I still got 34 minutes left. But listen again. Listen exactly what he's saying. And tell me that they don't do this to black folks all the time. And what I mean by that, black guy commits crime, you know what I'm saying? 14-year-old man. But young white kid, 18 years old, come from a good family, you know what I'm saying? I can't believe he's in this. But listen to what listen to the way that the media was trying to sway the jurors. Just listen.
What kind of books he'd be allowed to have in the prison, who could visit him, how do they stop him from committing suicide. This kind of stuff was going on every day while the jury was deliberating, and I have to believe it was designed to influence the jury.
It was designed.
Does money also explain the multiple accusations over the years of him abusing children?
There's no doubt in my mind that it makes for a salacious story. It makes for a lot of curious viewers, a lot of curious readers, and people are very intrigued with garbage and violence and abusive reporting. Michael was a very, very creative spirit, a very vulnerable person. He was kind to people throughout his lifetime, and because of his wealth and his fame, he was a good target. And
he was a target. He was a target. At the end of the day, we all know Michael Jackson was a target. Again, when have America ever, took victims, real true victims, into consideration? Think about America. America had a war on drugs when it was black people, and we didn't create crack. But when crack got, the crack epidemic of the 80s, it was a war on drugs. You know what I'm saying? The Reagan administration put a war out on anybody who was out here on drugs. Meanwhile, the opioid epidemic happened, and we need to be able to save people because this is so incredibly sad. You had people with AIDS, and when they thought it was the LGBT community that was, swirling around AIDS, nobody cared until, heterosexuals start getting AIDS. Now it's an issue. Now it's something that we got to fight. America never cared about its victims until the victim became America. You know what I mean when I say that.
There's always a perception that he was very vulnerable, that people could exploit him.
But how many boys, how many families has he or the Jackson estate paid off over the years?
I'm not aware of their paying anybody off other than a couple of settlements where he was advised by lawyers and business associates to pay money to end the story.
The only one that I know, and I could be wrong, I think Junior Network is in here because he'll correct me. I believe the only one that they paid, I think he paid, was it two? Well, he didn't pay. The insurance company did, was Jordan Chandler. if it come to find out that his dad was extorting, his son to do that. I think Jordan Chandler was the only one. I could be wrong. It could be another one, but I know for a fact the Hispanic family, I think they got paid by the which was a bad move. Even the video that I seen where mother Catherine said, I didn't like the fact that the insurance company paid these people because it made him look guilty. Even though he wasn't, it made him look guilty.
And he regretted doing it. He told me many times I should never have settled with a couple of people I settled with, because all it did was open up Pandora's box and create all sorts of problems for him. And he really regretted paying a dime to anybody.
Yeah,
he said,
thank you,
I should have
Junior
taken
Network.
them all to trial. I should have been there to testify. But everyone around me who wasn't writing the check told me to pay money and get rid of it because I had so many bigger things to do with my career and so much more money to make. And unfortunately, he listened to them.
He paid Jordan Chandler, the Chandler family, $20 million.
$20 million.
Well,
to make it go away.
Again, according to Michael,
it was the insurance
he had
company.
lawyers and business advisors who were telling him, pay the money. It's a drop in the bucket with what you can make around the world. You have an incredible career. There's a lot more time to produce beautiful music and make a lot of money. This is nothing. Get rid of it. Stop the publicity. Do it now. And he followed their advice.
But do you pay someone $20 million if you think you're entirely innocent?
If $20 million is a drop in the bucket and you're going to make billions instead, maybe you'd consider it.
But also the question should have been flipped. If he was really guilty, why would you take $20 million and not do a criminal case against Michael Jackson? If he did this horrendous, think about it like this. You're asking for $20 million because Michael Jackson, think about this, chat, and anybody who's watched this on a replay, Michael Jackson sexually assaulted your child, SA'd your child. Think about it. Think about it really hard. $20 million or watching this son of a gun go to jail. Pick one. And if you pick the $20 million and see this guy walk up and he in the subject, he hell, if he touched my child and it was really done. If he really did that, why wouldn't you go see criminal charges against this man? Why was $20 million? We know why it was $20 million. The interviewer acted like he did not know what happened with Jordan Chandler, his dad, what his dad was doing, the leaked audio. You know what I'm saying? Because Michael Jackson had his own, private investigator on the team, found that leaked audio where Jordan Chandler's dad was talking about, yeah, I got this nasty lawyer. He's going to I'm going to get everything I ever wanted. An extortion attempt. But they couldn't, because of the legal documentation, they couldn't call it extortion. But it was an extortion attempt. But then when Jordan Chandler says, hey, the man never did anything to me, but I can't say that in court because I would have to pay out that $20 million. I ain't got $20 million. I would have to pay that off. That's why he didn't say anything. And then Jordan Chandler's dad, people forget, Jordan Chandler literally exonerated himself from his family. He literally was like, I don't even want to be a part of y'all, mama and daddy and stepdad. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. And he adjudicated this. I think you adjudicate or whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm done with my parents. That's it. I'm done with my parents. And then his father ends up committing, you know what I'm saying, deleting himself off the timeline after Michael. You don't think that man was getting eaten away because you did it for money? You didn't care nothing about nobody but your own selfish greed. Let me keep going.
We're involved
Y'all get me in
any
my
sort
bag.
of Were you involved in any sort of out-of-court settlements?
No, I was not.
With anyone in Michael Jackson?
No, I was his criminal defense attorney only. I didn't handle civil litigation for him.
Do you know of any other off-the-record payments that he's made?
Oh, it came out in the trial that there was one other settlement that was done confidentially, and the person who received the money in that settlement, as well as his mother, were witnesses for the prosecution.
So, again, to keep them quiet.
2 settlements to keep people quiet and to let his business career and musical career go forward.
But you're convinced that doesn't say guilty?
No, absolutely not. Not when you put yourself in Michael Jackson's shoes. When you see the kind of money this man could make, when you see the following he had around the world, when you realize what business potential existed with Michael Jackson products, with Michael Jackson music, with Michael Jackson tours, these amounts of money were nothing compared to what he could make. And he was advised by some pretty shrewd people, pay off these people, you got bigger fish to fry.
What I know, it's just a movie, but I know because Catherine has said it in his life that his father, the one they was trying to make the villain of the movie, but technically he was right at this point. Joe said, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to protect you because nobody knows you like your family. Now, was Joe trying to get some money out of Michael every time he seen him? Yep. Joe was putting himself in debt. He was trying to ask Michael for $500,000. If my son had millions of dollars, I'm not about to be like, man, give me $500,000. I'm messing up in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't be messing up in life. But that was Joe. Joe was doing a lot of stuff. But Joe was right when he said you're going to put a lot of people in your life that's just going to be yes men. Because all they're seeing in the theme of this is money. That's all they're seeing is money. They're not seeing nothing else. They're not seeing you for who you are. They're seeing money. But I'm going to take a quick commercial break. Please do not go anywhere. If you want to continue to watch this, do not change channel or nothing. But I'll be right back with more of the Dre Max Show. Don't go nowhere.
Knight Rider will return after these messages and station identification.
He's Scanman, not just Oprah's boyfriend. If you cross him, you're a dead man. You heard what I said, man.
I heard he was gay. No way, sister.
Who's that man? He's Scanman.
Knight Rider. The Knight Rider Power Cycle with Kit on the pretend instrument panel.
Here he comes. There's something special happening at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Fresh buttermilk biscuits made from scratch. Our chicken head biscuits a perfect match.
Warm, taste so good, make you want to slap your mama for real. Man, I slap your grandma, I slap your auntie.
Good idea. Playing horsey with your little sister. Bad idea. Playing horsey with your Aunt Bertha.
Let's see who's bad, man. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. Let's show you who's bad. Come on.
You wear a disguise to look like human guys, but you're not a man, you're a chicken boo.
Now the conclusion of
I hate how they talk about you. Everybody thinks you're just a freeloader. They don't know about...
They can't know. They can't ever know. If my cover's blown, we're both dead.
Do you like the car? It's for you.
What's the occasion?
I can't believe you forgot again. It's our anniversary. We've been engaged for 15 years.
You know, I'd marry you tomorrow, baby. But it wouldn't be fair. Not to you or to the free world. Well, look at you.
This is it. I can't believe it. After 15 years, we're finally going to consummate our love.
Damn. This is Stedman. It's the commissioner.
What?
Professor Haight? He's escaped? Damn. What? The French Riviera? Now? Yes, sir. I'm on my way. Damn him! Damn that Professor Haight!
He's escaped? Again? Can't they build a prison strong enough to hold him for at least one night?
He's diabolical. I must go.
Can it wait just 1 hour? I want it so bad. 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Believe me, when we finally make love, I'm gonna take my time. It's gonna take all night long. But right now, I'm gonna need some money.
How much?
Let's see. French Riviera. In the house. Wardrobe. Disguises, special weapons, laser glasses, speedboat, armored helicopter.
All I have on me is 1.3 million.
That'll have to do.
Oh, darling, what kind of life is this?
Oprah, darling, you have to be strong. There's more at stake than just you and me.
Here's something to read on the plane.
Thank you, darling.
How about a kiss?
Of course. Close your eyes.
Oh, Stedman.
And of course, you already know I did the reaction video between, with Oprah too. So Oprah could, what I'm saying, could go flub off too. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's keep the party going.
Got bigger things to do, okay? And by the way, in all those settlements, there was no admission of liability. The people he gave money to agreed to sign a settlement agreement in which he did not admit any wrongdoing whatsoever.
So again, it goes back to my first question. My first question. If the guy was so guilty of doing so much horrendous stuff, giving cancer kids, you know what I'm saying? Jesus juice. You know what I mean? Give him some Irk jerk. When he was getting Parmesan, what was a cheap liquor? And then he would do certain things to that. Why didn't nobody on his staff see that? What? I think this is going to be a sensitive subject when I say this. But why would if I'm going to do this, why would I do random kids that I don't know and families I just meet when I got my brothers and sisters are making kids left and right? If I wanted to, if I wanted to go around start fondling people, I'll just do my family. They're right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to fly somebody in that's died of cancer. That's no fun. Come over here, nephew. If I really wanted to do that. Why nobody asked that question? Random kids, everybody over here getting touched, but the kid, but his family members, they're off limits. When normally family members are the first ones to touch somebody. I'm just saying, just being honest. It might not sound good, but it's the truth. Because the victim that's closer to me is the easiest target. Duh. Why none of his nephews and nieces and nobody else said anything like this? Just saying, you gotta think. They don't want you to think. They want you to be sheep. If you start thinking about it, why would I go fly a kid out to go do something when there's plenty of kids because Jermaine keep making them? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And what does that tell you about them?
Well, some might say that just paying the money is an admission of liability.
Well,
no,
it's not.
It's not.
When you pay money to settle a case and you insist in a settlement agreement that there be a provision which says, I'm not admitting to any wrongdoing, when the other side agrees to that, you can
Right.
look at them and try and question what their motives might be.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Because that's the question. I'm giving you money. I put on okay, you accuse me of this because all I know you want some money and I got a little bread in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? I just bought a giraffe and a brand new monkey the other day. Not a chimp. There's a difference between a chimpanzee and a monkey. So I just bought a brand new monkey just the other day. So I got money to throw away. You know what I mean? So here, let me sign you a check. And in the middle of this check, in this agreement, you can say I never had any wrongdoing whatsoever. Take the money and get up out my face. But I've committed these horrific crimes. And so money is more important than the person who's doing all these horrific crimes going to jail. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So even the interviewer, him asking a lot of these questions are dumb because there's no counterpoint to the questions. Because you're not going to look at the alleged victims and say, well, why is money the motivation of this and not criminal charges? Question mark. Because that's a hard-hitting question you want to ask. If you're going to hit Michael Jackson's attorney with all these questions, well, the question is, why would they do that? Why would they settle? Why wouldn't they send the man to jail? Where is the really true evidence? Why is people lying on the stand? Why did the FBI investigate this man? They didn't find a glove up a little child's butt. Why? Why did they find that? So now you know that money was the only motivator and had nothing to do with anything because there was nothing ever there. This is just easy elementary school stuff. I'm getting worked up. Let me keep going because I got 30 minutes of this.
It seems like nobody was doing it based on principle, because if you're admitting that someone, essentially, I see that provision as an admission that nobody did anything wrong. That's how I interpret it. If you're taking money after suing someone claiming you were molested,
yes,
and you agree to a provision where they do not admit any wrongdoing whatsoever,
none,
that suggests that you may have ulterior motives, which might be more financially oriented than anything else. To me, that's how I would see it.
What about the former house staff at Neverland? Are they making up what they saw?
I cross-examined a number of these witnesses at trial, and in my opinion, they were among the worst witnesses I've ever seen in a court. You need to look at their testimony, and particularly the cross-examination, which they all looked terrible in. I mean, so many witnesses by the prosecution in that trial just got destroyed on cross-examination, which the media never reported. Most of these staff that testified in the trial had sued Michael Jackson also. They went to trial and lost as well. A number of them had made contrary statements and contradictory statements before the criminal trial. One time saying he never did anything wrong, other times saying he did. But many staffers sued him and lost. And because Michael Jackson prevailed in this particular lawsuit, in fact, he won a cross complaint for costs against many of these people. That was another reason why
Why is that never brought up in the documentaries? Why is none of this information, which is, I haven't seen anything after the first 10 minutes of this. So why wasn't that information in none of these documentaries that they put up? Why they never bring that up? Because of I don't know, Michael Jackson look innocent?
Told me he wished he had fought all of these cases to verdict. He said, look, I tried to listen to my business advisors, my lawyers. They said, end the publicity.
Is this the reason why he eventually fired John Bronca? Junior Network, let me know, or anybody else in the chat, if you know, I wonder, is this the reason why he fired John Bronca? Or if you know that information, put it in the chat for me and let me know that.
It's going to cost you much more than what you're going to pay to settle and resolve these cases.
The lawyer is on it.
And he said, I listened to them and I shouldn't have.
Have you noticed the lawyer didn't do any and looking away like he's thinking or whatever? Answer, question, answer, question, answer. Complete, full-fledged sentences, no stuttering, no thought, no nothing. Bam, bam, bam. That's how I know this lawyer is not lying. He's telling the truth. And plus, the answers are coming in as more of a matter of fact than something that he has to kind of conjure up to answer the question.
Let's just stay with these accusers for a moment, because I'm fascinated by this. Some of these accusers have not just changed their story slightly, they've done a 180. I mean, Wade Robson, he was your star witness in the trial that you defended Michael Jackson successfully in. Now he says he molested him. Is there a possible explanation in the Me Too movement where people will now feel more comfortable saying publicly, look, I was abused?
Can I just say something about that Me Too movement? I always believe that was some bull jive. Not saying everybody. I'm not saying, everybody. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is that now it's okay for you because other people are stepping up, and now all of a sudden you're here, you're stepping up, you're saying it, and they never asked the question. And I'm being honest with you, they never asked the question. Why did you do it now? Why now? You know what I'm saying? And why you never did it beforehand? Why you lie 1 minute and then, all of a sudden he did it, but then the stories don't even add up. Like, the stories don't add up.
Can we now please do something about it?
Right now, if you are accused of this type of thing, you are almost judged guilty before you can defend yourself. I think right now we're going a little too far, and a lot of people who are not honest, who are trying to capitalize on this particular movement, are raising accusations that need to be challenged.
You don't think the freedom of the Me Too movement could be explained for these latest accusers coming up and saying that Michael Jackson molested them?
I think the freedom of the Me Too movement has allowed false accusations to be made, as well as real accusations.
Thank you. So you don't...
And we've got to be very careful to make sure we sift out what's real and what's false.
Facts. Because if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the Me Too movement started by black women that was talking about what was going on when it was going to Hollywood, and then they got hijacked? And then once it got hijacked from some other people, and some of the people were lying because they wanted to be victims too, with no evidence. So the real victims got mixed up with the fake victims. You know what I'm saying? The people who were seeking attention and stuff like that and money. You know what I'm saying? And the real victims get pushed to the side for people who's looking for a paycheck. Thank you so very much for the $5 super chat. Wonder why there's no coverage, Doc, on none of these trials itself. I'm just saying. Yep, you're right. You're right. Let me hook you up. I think I know. I kind of think I know what you want, D Sizzle, when it comes to these, and I'm gonna give it to you. Body roll. Super chat, body roll. I might have to get in the Marlon Jackson trend. I mean the trend that's going on right now, the body roll trend. I told y'all a long time ago body roll was gonna come full-fledged. And what did I tell y'all? What did I tell y'all? Look, body roll is a movement. But I was told it was something bad. But if you ain't bad, you ain't nothing. All right, let's keep going. Thank you so very much. But it was somebody who put something. Yeah. So Oprah was, Alvin Bragg was. I mean, it was a far left movement. You know what I'm saying? It was a far left movement. Let's being honest. Yep. So anyway, let's keep going.
Well, I met with Wade Robson before he testified in the criminal trial. He wasn't compelled to be there. He wasn't forced to be there. He came with his mother and sister. They all seemed like very nice people. My impression of Wade was that he was intelligent, likable, articulate, And he was very, very strong in his defense of Michael Jackson. He told me in no uncertain terms he had not been molested, he had not been abused, and that these claims were ridiculous. I mean, this man was so strongly supportive of Michael Jackson, so powerful in his defense of Michael Jackson, that it just shocks me that he's changed his story in recent years. I just can't get over it. Because understand this, in a criminal trial, if you call defense witnesses, you, the defense attorney, decide to put on your case, you are taking risks. You are subjecting defense witnesses to cross-examination as well. And in this particular case, I thought we had done so well in cross-examining the prosecution's witnesses that I had to think long and hard before I put on a defense case. And I concluded that even though probably 99% of lawyers in my position would probably rest and not put on a defense case, I didn't want the jury to hang and Michael Jackson to go through another trial. I didn't think he could stand it physically and emotionally. I just didn't want that to happen. So I took a risk and put on an extensive defense case. And if you're going to put on a defense case, you want to start strong and you want to end strong. I started strong with Wade Robson as my first witness. I ended strong with Chris Tucker, the famous comedian, as my last witness. And Wade was so powerfully supportive of Michael Jackson that I wanted to start with him. Macaulay Culkin was my second witness, who also was extremely supportive of Michael Jackson, claiming he never was improperly touched. Brett Barnes was my third witness from Australia, who said that he was never improperly touched, and he was angry that anyone suggested he was. He said words to the effect, "You think I would come here on my own and testify like this if I had been molested?" Jimmy Safechuck I never met, but I knew he signed a sworn declaration under penalty of perjury saying he was not touched. The prosecution wanted to bring in evidence.
Yeah, I mean, do you hear how the lawyer is every question that and I wish our politicians was more like that, but that'll never happen. But do you see how the lawyer is getting questioned and he's literally said, hey, this is what it is. Believe it or not, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Wade was broke. You know what I'm saying? And Brady Jackson, him and Taj, tearing him up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, skip Wade. Man, let me shut up.
That he was improperly touched, and the judge would not allow that. So I never really met Mr. Safechuck, but Wade was so adamant that he hadn't been abused. He was cross-examined by a very aggressive, very passionate, very skilled prosecutor, Ron Zonin.
And didn't break.
Didn't break at all. He was adamant that he hadn't been improperly touched by Michael at any time.
So how do you previously praise Michael Jackson, and now you say 14 years later, he did unspeakable things to me?
Well, also remember that he wanted to be, apparently, he wanted to be the choreographer for the Michael Jackson estate.
Here it goes.
When they were preparing to put on the Michael Jackson musical play in Las Vegas.
But he asked for a job.
That's my understanding. And the estate has told me that he wanted to be the lead choreographer for that show.
But
and they turned him down.
He got knocked back.
He got
knocked back. I mean, yeah.
He was not hired for the job for reasons I don't know. And my understanding is it was not long after he was denied that position that he changed his testimony, changed his story, and said that he was terribly abused.
There it is. And Alvaro Rodriguez, who is that? I don't know who that is. But there it is. Man could get a job. Now you want to say, oh, he did it too. Like, seriously, man, these dudes are so, if you really think about it, a lot of these people are pathetic. A lot of these people are pathetic. Go get a job, you bum. Begging a man for a job, and you over here mad because he didn't want to give you a job. Now you gonna flip on him? Bum.
Now, if you were horribly abused by Michael Jackson in the way he describes, which is horrendous, why would you want to be the choreographer for the Michael Jackson show?
Thank you.
In terms of
the
complete reversal of these stories, it's not just a slight change, is it?
No,
you're not just slightly changing your story.
No, my understanding is Mr. Robson is claiming that he was violently abused, that there was forced anal intercourse, that he was bleeding, things like that. If he's making those allegations, how could he not have remembered them when he spoke to me?
Exactly.
How could he not have remembered them when he testified under oath in the trial?
Testify under oath. Testify under oath. Then all of a sudden you want to flip because there's money involved. Come on, man. Y'all gotta see this, man. Y'all gotta see it for what it is.
That he was never molested or abused by Michael Jackson at any time. I can't get over this.
And Jimmy Safechuck, similarly, why would you now change your story completely?
Again, look, if you take allegations that have been made against Michael Jackson through the years and put them under a microscope, nothing holds up.
Yep.
If you look at that $20 million settlement in the early 90s, I have to tell you, the alleged victim in the case.
There we go.
Refused to testify for the prosecution in our criminal trial. They put a lot of pressure on him to testify.
Jordan Chandler.
We had some witnesses who claim he told them he never was molested. And they claimed he said he was upset with his parents for having him make those statements. I don't know if that's true or not. This is what these people said. I know that Mr. Chandler sought legal emancipation from his parents. And I believe his mother testified in the trial that she hadn't seen him for many years. She testified with the prosecution. She thought he had been molested at that point. You look at all of these accusers under a microscope, and you see financial gain as a primary motive, in my opinion.
Follow the money.
Because if your child is molested the way these people have accused Michael Jackson of doing it, you don't just take a check and then sign a settlement agreement where Michael Jackson denies any liability at all. Okay, you don't do that.
Nope.
You operate on principle.
Yes.
You don't let Michael Jackson sign a document which absolves him of liability.
Yes.
Or responsibility.
Having said that, it's fairly difficult, isn't it, to come out as an adult publicly and admit that you've been molested?
No, it ain't.
Is there any discount that you'll
Look, if I could get a bag out of Michael Jackson, he touched me too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He got me. You know what I mean? If I could get a bag and I'm a horrible human being who can't even go get a job because I'm a bum. Yeah, I'll go out and say something. I don't care what y'all say. If I can get $20 million, you know what I'm saying? What's stopping me? What's stopping me from getting a little fortune, a little fame right now? You know what I'm saying? But I gotta still prove it. But what was said in Training Day? It's not what you know. It's what you can prove. It couldn't prove nothing. You know what I'm saying? It couldn't prove nothing. Is that the Hispanic family? Is that who you talking about? The Casio family? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Send it to me on IG because I have no idea about any of that. But I'm just saying, if I can go get a bag out of them, or Italian, my bad. I don't know because I don't. They were Italian, okay. But I'm just saying, I would flip in a heartbeat because I'm a horrible human being that's broke.
Giving them for that. Why would you do that?
Send it to me on IG.
Only for money?
Send it to me on IG.
Well, again, if you believe you have been molested as a child, and that's a horrible allegation, that's a serious criminal offense that can put you away in prison for life. If you believe someone did that to you, do you let them sign a settlement agreement denying any liability whatsoever in return for a check? Is it all about money?
There it is.
Apparently, it's not about principle, because if you were doing it on principle, you wouldn't let a settlement agreement like that be executed.
Facts.
So you've got to look very carefully at people's motives. And you've got to look very carefully at the facts.
Yeah,
you've got the most famous person in the world, one of the wealthiest people in the world, perceived as very vulnerable, okay? And people constantly tried to exploit him throughout his lifetime. And he was getting subjected to frivolous lawsuits throughout his career by people who wanted to cash in.
Yep.
You have to look carefully at what the allegations are and what the result is. And I maintain that if you claim you were molested by Michael Jackson repeatedly and violently, and you take a check and sign an agreement with him where he denies any liability at all, that raises a red flag to me with respect to motives.
It raises a red flag.
Why doesn't this sort of thing happen to a lot of other pop stars? And why particularly Michael Jackson?
Well, I think a lot of pop stars are sued frivolously. But I don't have a lot of information to give you today.
Not all for child abuse. I mean, it just keeps coming back to.
Well, you say it keeps coming back, but I mean, look at the specifics of each allegation, and they all collapse. Every one of these instances collapses when you look carefully at it. And you have to accept the fact that Michael Jackson was an unusually desirable target for everybody. He was subjected to so many lawsuits throughout his life, it was almost scandalous.
But it wasn't just about his bank balance, was it? It was also about partly his behavior, which allowed those things to happen.
Well, Michael Jackson is accused of eccentric, unusual behavior. That's not a crime.
Yeah.
Okay? Michael Jackson was...
Like, that's just like me, Dre Mac, you know what I'm saying, YouTuber or whatever. Just because I got arcades in here, just because I have Transformers and Ninja Turtles in here, does not mean that I want kids down here. Hell, my own kids can't come down here. Well, yeah, they can. But they can't touch that. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean I want little kids just run around in here just doing God knows what. You know what I'm saying? Just because I'm eccentric, just because I'm different, doesn't mean I'm a criminal. Just because you don't like the way that I move around in life doesn't make me bad. You know what I'm saying? You just don't like the way I move. Doesn't make me a criminal. You just turning me into a criminal.
Was the world's greatest entertainer in his lifetime. Okay? To entertain, he was eccentric, he was different, he was creative. He made music that was beyond belief. He never took a dance lesson in his life. Some people thought he was the greatest dancer ever. He was an immense target. And
he builds a ranch for kids.
Yeah, he built a ranch with an amusement park.
I mean, how old was Walt Disney when Disney World was built? And his mother said, you know what? He built that because he was feeling like underprivileged kids who would never get a chance to see certain things in their life, you know, would be able to experience that. Hell, what's his name? Oh, the guy who created the Hollywood Unlocked. Oh my God, what's his name? Jason, forgot it. Jason Lee. Guess where Jason Lee got to go to as a kid? Neverland Ranch. Him and his class. I don't think there's nothing wrong with. He was a person that was helping kids. You know what I mean? A person that was helping kids. How many times? Let's be honest. How many times in our own neighborhoods we ask men to step up and be around these kids, whether they're your kid or not? We're asking the men in the neighborhood, especially in black neighborhoods, you know what I'm saying, to help out kids, to help out the kids in the neighborhood. You know, more male faces being, you know what I'm saying, being shown. How many times have we seen this? But yet, all of a sudden now, it's the worst thing in the world because Michael Jackson, out of all people, decides he wants to build something for kids. That's wild to me. That's crazy. Again, it's an excuse. They call the man weird. They call the man this, so you can try to take what he built. Because technically, it's not about what he built. It's not about him dancing. It's a black man with power. They told you that's what it really was. Black man with money and power. Because as long as he owned that publishing, he had power. The man would never be broke. He could always borrow from it. You know what I'm saying? So,
with a zoo, and he busloads of underprivileged kids from the inner city would come to Neverland. We had one of those visits while I was representing him, where a lot of kids from Compton in Los Angeles, who were in a low-income neighborhood, were bussed up there to have fun. I mean, to Michael Jackson, this was all public. None of it was hidden.
Right.
And in his mind, this is as innocent as anything can be.
Just think about it like this. You out here groping kids, you're not going to be that public. You're not have a bus full of kids keep coming up to your ranch if you was out here fondling and do-diddling on kids. You know what I mean? You're not going to be an open target like that. I mean, you're not that stupid. You know what I mean? You're not that stupid. Sean Franklin, what's up? So, no, you wouldn't do nothing like. You're not going to have a bus full of kids come up and then, yeah, I'm over here, you know what I'm saying, pulling one to the side so I can get my freak on. You're not stupid. If you think Michael Jackson was that dumb, dude, you just want the man to be guilty. But trust me, I lived in Compton on 131st and Wilmington Avenue. When I'm telling you, it was the hood. I don't know what it looks like now, but when I lived there, it was still the hood. The hood. You know what I'm saying? Gangbangers, all of that, all over the place. And for Michael Jackson to do that, and everybody knows, shows a real kind of character what it is of who Michael Jackson really was. Like I said, Jason Lee got to go to Neverland. He actually talked to Michael Jackson. He talks about it. The interview he did with Brandy Jackson. He said, I got to talk to Michael for a little bit. I think a kid, somebody shot, like it did a school shooting or something like that. Don't give me to line on this story, but it was something in that sense. So Michael Jackson decided to bring these kids to Neverland. Like I said, we're always asking men to be here for the children. You know what I'm saying? And there's a prime example of a man with money, with real money, doing something for the kids, and they try to make him the worst human being on the face of the earth. Meanwhile, politicians and all of that stuff is flying to an island with all kinds of kiddos in there, and, you know, hold on. I seen one of you guys. Yeah, Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman fell out with Michael. He tried to flip-flop on Michael. Was like, well, I mean, if I could advocate, because Michael stopped taking his phone call. Well, if I had to advocate, I do. We don't want to dismiss the victims. Come on, bro. Yeah, because for a long time you were saying, well, y'all was cool, that he didn't do nothing. Now you say, I'm not saying he didn't. Nah. Rob, you know what I'm saying? If as a fan, so you know, what did Kendrick say? I forgot, but y'all know what okay, let me get out. Let me stop. I still got how many minutes left? I still got 17 minutes of this.
Never dreamed somebody was going to turn this against him the way it was.
The stories of him sharing his bed with children, do you think that's right?
Well, first of all, his bed was about as big as this hotel we're in. Okay. And
hey, Michael had so much money, he could fit your hotel in his bedroom. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Flex. I know somebody will have my back. You know, I'm still a little sleepy because I had a long day. But I thank you. That's what I meant. But just think about it like this. He had chimpanzee money, monkey money, giraffe money, python money, a hotel for a bedroom. Man, come on, bro. You think this man was going around, you know what I'm saying, skedaddling these kids? Come on, bro. Come on. Thank you, Flex Zone. I appreciate you.
Mothers and fathers and sisters slept on the bed too. So Michael Jackson repeatedly told me, I've never improperly touched anyone. I've never molested anyone. And the parents would sleep on my bed. And the sisters would sleep on my bed.
But
The
don't
prosecutor.
you think it's a little bit strange?
It was unusual, but it wasn't criminal.
Yeah, it was unusual, but it wasn't criminal. You know what I mean? Yeah. Would you expect a guy in his 30s or 40s, you know what I'm saying, to have everybody in his bed, you know what I'm saying, hanging out and stuff like that? We can say that because we haven't lived the life of Michael Jackson. Hell, we get, let's be honest, we try to find a deal on a mattress. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got Michael Jackson mattress money. So we can't, you know what I mean? Like I said, and everybody has said this, if Michael Jackson was really out here skedaddling kids, he would have been protected. If he was part of the go along, get along gang, you know what I'm saying? The ones who laugh at jokes about George Floyd and all of this other stuff, and keep kid and rubbing elbows, he would be protected.
But isn't he opening himself up?
That was a terrible mistake because he was such a public figure, so vulnerable to false allegations, so vulnerable to lawsuits, that it was a mistake to do that. And after the trial, he told me that's not happening. Now, you look at many cultures around the world, and you'll see that parents and kids and cousins all sleep in the same bed. I mean, sleeping in the bed with children is not a criminal offense.
Yes,
you have to take it to the level of sexual behavior.
Yes.
And we proved that he didn't do that.
Tom, I want to ask you specifically about one of the housemates because she has now come back into public view with this, release of this documentary. And
have you noticed that he didn't say anything positive about Michael? It's just grilling the lawyer about the behavior, but he's not. There's nothing positive that came out of this. It's all about accused. Well, this person accused, that person accused. Well, this person accused. There's nothing about. Well, Michael Jackson did do this. What do you think about? What do you think about this? They're all. Have you all noticed is leaning very heavy to allegations?
Comments around the world on various websites and that sort of thing. What do you make? What do you make of Adrienne McManus?
Well, I haven't seen or spoken to her since I cross-examined her in the trial, and I thought she was perhaps one of the worst witnesses I've ever seen.
I think that's what we're talking about. Yeah,
and I've been doing this for decades. She contradicted herself, I thought, very often. And it was one of the most effective cross-examinations I've ever conducted.
Now, this is a lawyer. This is his lawyer. This is his his profession. So when he says, I've been doing this for decades, and this is one of the worst this is one of the worst witnesses I've ever came across in my life. Would you take that for face value? Or would you think he's lying because it's Michael Jackson? Like, honestly. I want y'all to really honestly answer that question in the chat for me. Do you think he's doing this because it's Michael Jackson, or is he doing this because it's integrity? Put it in the comment section below or in the chat and let me know.
I mean, as I recall, and I haven't looked at the testimony for many years, she had testified under oath before the trial that he had not abused anyone. And there were some other problems. Take a look at her cross-examination. I think you'll be shocked at what you say.
What about her claims that she was threatened by Jackson's people? She was intimidated by the staff, in fear for her life, wanted to keep her job. That's why she didn't tell the truth initially.
I don't believe it for a second. I just don't believe it.
Don't buy it.
I cross-examined her. I watched her. The jury watched her. And she was discredited, in my opinion.
It's almost like the Stephon Diggs. I don't know if you guys checked out the Stephon Diggs trial. Shout out to my homegirl, Kat Not Williams, when she covered that. And if you want, because I'm only saying this because of that I'm only doing this because of Michael movie. That stupid documentary is going to come out. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what exactly what it's going to say, but I'm pretty sure it might be trash. We never know. But in the Stephon Diggs case, when the young lady was cross-examined by the defense attorney for Stephon Diggs, she was probably the worst person I've ever seen in my whole entire life get on the stand and say somebody did something to her. You know what I'm saying? Well, you can't even answer correct questions. And there are some people that still think, oh, well, I think Stephon Diggs probably did something. But then it was ever proven in court. And then this person doesn't even, there's not even a credible witness. No credible witness. That's what is killing me about this stuff. The lawyer says the lady was crap, and he keeps saying, well, but do you think? Come on, give me a bone. Do you think? Which is the interviewer's job. And I disagree. I think the interviewer is doing an excellent job because it's keeping the lawyer on his toes with every question. In every question, Michael Jackson's lawyer is nailing. Now, I'm talking about homer after homer after homer. He's not only giving you the facts, but asking you to legitimately think. Stop going off of feelings and what you feel and think logically about this.
Repeatedly.
So when she says that she saw Michael Jackson do certain things, that she cleaned his bedroom for years, found certain things, you don't buy it.
I don't believe it for a second. Look at the cross-examination of this witness and then tell me what you think.
What you think, not what you feel.
Okay.
What you think. Look. He can't even.
You're certain about that then?
He's so flabbergasted that he couldn't even keep a straight face because he wants to find even an inch from the lawyer. He couldn't. He had to laugh. This is when you know it's a fatality. You watch his demeanor. If you know anything about body language, he was done. He got punched and he was not ready for that right hook. He wasn't ready for that right hook. He thought he was jabbing with the left, came through with a right hook, pow, and he couldn't do nothing but fold. Watch his demeanor. Watch his demeanor.
Examined her. I watched her. The jury watched her, and she was discredited, in my opinion, repeatedly.
So when she says that she saw Michael Jackson do certain things, that she cleaned his bedroom for years, found certain things, you don't buy it.
I don't believe it for a second. Look at the cross-examination of this witness and then tell me what you think.
Look.
Okay. Yeah. You're certain about that then? What?
He got nothing. He said, you're certain about that then, and just laughed it off because he knows you have nothing. You have nothing. He said, you go back and watch the cross-examination and you tell me what you think. Now, what you feel, what you think. And he had nothing. Nothing. He had nothing.
Well, again, I know this, I'm going to sound like a broken record, so excuse me.
Yeah, you're doing it.
What's her motivation for saying these things 25 years later about Michael Jackson?
What was her motivation in the trial for doing it? Look at the cross-examination.
Why would she come back 25 years later and say something? Well, why would she say it then? Look at her cross-examination. He's like checking them. You go fact check it. You go look at it and you tell me what you think. You tell me, go think about it. I'm trying to tell you, this is the first time I've seen a lawyer since Johnny Cochran bust somebody upside the head repeatedly over and over and over again. This is actually pretty good.
Look at her history with Michael Jackson, including litigation, including all sorts of issues that I think will open your eyes to her, in my opinion.
I have looked at that. I know she was sued along with 4 other house staff.
What's going on, Kendall?
And lost that lawsuit.
Lost.
They sued for wrongful dismissal.
Lost.
And Michael Jackson won that suit. And
won. Why is it a question? Okay, so this is what the interviewer, because that's why I said he got hit with a right hook when he said the cross-examination, because he knew his next statement was, yeah, we knew he tried to sue Michael Jackson, and Michael won. So he already knew that. That's why he started laughing, because he knew he was done with that question. There was nothing else he could say because he knew what the answer was.
Awarded, I think they were 1.6 million against them, against each of them or against the lot. I can't remember exactly. I can't recall off the top of my head. But I think you say in that transcript, you remind her that he forgave that debt by the payment of only $1. Why would he do that?
I don't recall the testimony at this point. I'd have to review it to really answer your question. I have not looked at that testimony since verdict day. I'd have to take another look at it.
I was surprised by the. I just thought you might have recalled that moment. I was surprised by the largesse that he exhibited at that stage. I mean, he could have made them, go into debt and continue to repay it, but obviously he forgave the debt. You can't recall that at all? No.
I don't recall the specifics of that. I'd have to look at the cross-examination. I remember that a number of former employees had sued Michael Jackson. It was a long civil trial. Michael Jackson cross-complained against them, and Michael Jackson won. They lost, and there was a big money judgment against them, but I don't remember the details.
Okay. After that trial,
he's killing them
at the end of that trial, did you ever say to Michael Jackson, look, you have to be more careful?
Michael Jackson understood after that trial that he had to be more careful, that he was a sitting duck for profiteers, for unscrupulous people, for people who wanted to just take advantage of the legal system and go after him. They did that throughout his lifetime. I mean, Michael Jackson was a very convenient target for frivolous lawsuits and frivolous accusations. And life is difficult, and people have financial requirements, and people want to get wealthy. And he was constantly subjected, in my opinion, to frivolous claims.
The events that led to that trial, the whole Gavin Arvizo accusations, am I right in saying that that was spurred by the Martin Bashir documentary?
Yes, I think the Martin Bashir documentary was a disaster for Michael Jackson.
Facts.
I think
he knew that Martin Bashir, even Martin Bashir had to come back and apologize for that trash ass documentary that he pulled, that Living with Michael or whatever that crap was. That was trash. I remember watching that live when it happened. I was like, this is terrible, because this is making this man seem like he's crazy. Because you can't afford a $50,000 painting or gold toilet bowls or monkey. Michael had monkey and giraffe money. I can't imagine going. Could you imagine going to the zoo and be like, "Hey man, I want a monkey"? Like seriously. Like I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. I couldn't imagine having that much money that I can go shop for an exotic animal. That's crazy.
never should have trusted Mr. Bashir to do an objective professional documentary.
We still got 10 more minutes left.
I believe he was tricked into cooperating with Mr. Bashir because he had great respect for Princess Diana, and Michael was told that she had allowed Mr. Bashir to do her biography.
It was funny though.
And letting Mr. Bashir do a documentary of Michael Jackson was one of the most awful decisions he ever made.
Yeah.
Well, why do you think that? You think the result was slanted, do you?
I think Mr. Bashir turned it all against him.
Yes.
Tried to create a sensationalist documentary
I remember
for
that too.
personal gain. That's my opinion. And it was spliced together and put together in a way which, in my opinion, was designed to make Michael look bad.
Yep.
If you look at the outtakes that were not included in the documentary, you see a very different Michael Jackson. You see Mr. Bashir complimenting Michael Jackson on his parenting skills, on the way he conducts his life. And the whole thing was a disaster, I think.
And that documentary, Living with Michael Jackson, that set the scene, did it? In terms of in terms of the district attorney in charge of that case eventually, and the local district attorney, do you think that set the scene for lawmakers to think, well, hang on, there's something going on here?
I think that documentary pushed things over the top. Remember, you had a very, very aggressive, overzealous district attorney who, starting in the early 90s, looked to get an indictment against Michael Jackson. In the early 90s, there was a grand jury investigation in Santa Barbara County, California. There was a grand jury investigation in Los Angeles County, California.
I would have loved to go to
Throughout
Neverland
the mid-90s, Mr. Sneddon traveled outside of America looking for witnesses against Michael Jackson. There was an incident, unfortunately, where Michael Jackson made fun of the district attorney in a music video, which I think was something he should not have been advised to do. But this Barton Bashir documentary, in my opinion, pushed things over the edge and made this very aggressive, overzealous district attorney think he now had a case against Michael Jackson.
Now, what do y'all think the Leaving Neverland documentary did? Especially with Oprah's help, you know what I'm saying? What this new documentary could do, even though now we're in the age of social media, like social media is so heavy, we could just pull up the facts. We could pull up, the actual court cases. We could talk about it now. We could do live streams and stuff like that, like this now, you know what I'm saying? Because of court of public opinion, we can literally look at the documentation now. You know what I mean? According, say compared to 2009 or 2005, where you didn't have that type of information, or 1993, where you didn't have access to an internet like that, where you could just pull that information up and then broadcast that information live to millions of people. We got to understand that 93 was a totally different time. 2005 was a totally different time than it is now. You know what I mean? But we are at a better place now, even to the point where people were, like I said, canceling their Netflix because of a documentary. You understand that? What's Netflix going to do? We don't know. You know what I'm saying? But this is kind of where we at.
Did that lead to the police raid?
I think it had a lot to do with the police raid. I think the documentary made Mr. Sneddon think, I now have a winnable case against him. In November of 2003, at Mr. Sneddon's request, 70 sheriffs from Santa Barbara County
70
made a surprise raid on Neverland.
70 sheriffs. 70 sheriffs. And you go in some of these, in some areas, and you can't get a cop to show up for hours after an incident happens in your life. Let me shut up.
70. Approximately 70 sheriffs raided Neverland, scoured every building, every room for computers, for documentary evidence, anything they could find. They were relentless in their efforts to find evidence to convict Michael Jackson with.
And in a raid of that size, what did they find?
Nothing, in my opinion. Michael Jackson was acquitted. The jury said not guilty 14 times, 10 felonies, 4 misdemeanors. It was a clean sweep. In my opinion, they found absolutely nothing.
70 sheriffs, and they couldn't find anything to pin on. 70 sheriffs. They tried to look at his computers. They tried to look at what was in his closets, what was in his drawers. They made a mess out of his bedroom. They went into the animal quarters where his giraffes and elephants and all the animals were kept. They scoured the place looking for evidence, and in my opinion, they found nothing.
So you're telling me 70 sheriffs came into a man's house, tore it up looking for stuff, not a glitter, not a picture, not nothing. No evidence whatsoever, and we're still making documentaries. And truth be told, I was afraid of heights, and I never climbed trees when I was a kid. Sue me.
I would have thought a raid of that size, you would have had to have had reasonable evidence prior to it to obtain the warrants.
Not in my opinion.
No, you
I
didn't.
think this was a mission by a district attorney who, in my opinion, was overzealous, overaggressive, convinced himself that Michael Jackson was a criminal, and thought he would find a way to build a strong case against Michael Jackson. And I think he thought he had one going into the trial. I think he deluded himself. I don't think he realized how vulnerable a lot of his witnesses were to cross-examination. And I've never been in a trial where so many witnesses collapsed on cross-examination as this one. It just was remarkable that he would throw all these witnesses on the stand under oath, and then they would just collapse on cross-examination. I've never seen anything quite like it in my whole career.
Why was the district attorney so desperate to pin
Michael Jackson?
I really don't know. I really don't know. He was very respected in Santa Barbara County.
Yes, they did.
Many people in Santa Barbara County thought he was ethical and principled. Some did not. But he'd been elected repeatedly for many, many years. He had an exceptional winning record in the courtroom. And a lot of people thought because he wanted to bring this case, there must be merit to it. And I can tell you, after 5 months in the courtroom, there was no merit to this case.
He was convinced Michael Jackson was guilty of
Facts.
criminal
I think he convinced himself that Michael Jackson was guilty of the charged crimes. And
just like I said with Alvin Bragg, you know what I'm saying? Manhattan District Attorney's Office, they were trying to get not only Jonathan Majors, remember Kevin Porter Jr. and Adam Foss. You know what I mean? Because they were really trying to push that we're protect the streets from these evil men, and they were far left. They were trying, he was trying to push politics, and that Me Too movement crap. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were trying to push. It showed that his white constituents and the white people in Manhattan, that these black men would not be out here raping nobody or putting their hands on no white women, even though Chrissy, and I think I forgot her name, for the Kevin Porter Jr. case, she wasn't even white. You know what I mean? But they were really trying to push that Me Too movement over in Manhattan. Trust me. But okay, so give me a second. I'm gonna take another quick commercial break. Please do not go anywhere. We're about to wrap this up, but I'll be right back. Do not go nowhere. I'll be right back with more of the Dre Mack Show.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Are you going down? Then you gotta know the best way to go. On the down low.
Damn, you banking like that? And you come over here with a biscuit meal, man?
Would you like to take a survey? No. Elevator go down the hall.
It's you! It's you!
Whoop-de-doo.
We are talking about the same girl.
Okay, well, what do we do? Fight a duel or something?
Well, I don't know. Maybe,
The conclusion of Step
Back. Like this?
Slower. Bend over.
Stedman, what's going on?
Darling, are you all right?
Stedman, who was that woman?
That was Professor Haight, disguised as an ugly French lap dancer.
Ugly? She looked beautiful.
I suppose she might have been considered beautiful until you walked in the room.
Oh, Stedman, I've been dreaming of this moment. Come here.
Wild horses couldn't keep me away.
Invisible robots!
Invisible robots?
beep, 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 beep. Look out!
Man, he's dead man. Not just no Bruce boyfriend. If you cross him, you're a dead man. You heard what I said, man.
I heard he was gay. No way, sister.
Dead man, he's dead man.
We now return to the Transformers.
Right, we're getting ready to wrap this up. We're down to the last about 6 minutes of this. Let's go.
Just shake my head when I think of these allegations that Michael Jackson would mastermind a criminal conspiracy to falsely imprison a family, to abduct children, to commit criminal extortion. Michael Jackson wouldn't know how to even begin to imagine such a thing.
I mean, you're one person that knows in life there's a lot of gray.
My buddy is still the stuff.
But you're adamant, aren't you? You don't think Michael Jackson has molested one single person?
Michael was a creative spirit. He danced to his own drummer. He saw things we don't see. He heard things we don't hear. He was a creative genius. He was eccentric.
Yes, he was.
He was different, and he was an artist. I don't believe he was a molester for 5 seconds.
If we look at the history of this, though, the number of accusers,
so
Chandler, Gavin Arvizo, Wade Robson now, Jimmy Safechuck. I mean, are they all making it up?
Let's look at them individually. Safechuck swore under penalty of perjury that he wasn't abused.
Swore.
Robson swore under penalty of perjury that he wasn't abused. Arvizo wasn't believed by the jury. 2 other people were paid off to end the litigation, to end the lawsuit so he could get on with his career. So when you look at everyone under a microscope, what do you really come up with? Not much.
My man.
Well, a lot more than most mere mortals facing it.
I mean, just he's smiling because he thinks, oh, well, because why is it just Michael Jackson? Why nobody else is getting targeted? Why this? Why that? Why is Michael Jackson being targeted is the question. That's why he got a smile about this, because he knows he's about to say something dumb. Listen.
A lifetime.
But he's the biggest target on the planet. He was the most famous person on the planet. He was immensely wealthy. He was perceived as immensely vulnerable. This made him a target throughout his life.
And he said that multiple times.
And he's being attacked even in death.
Exactly.
By people who want money.
Exactly.
And I sat with him for 5 months, 5 days a week in a criminal courtroom, watching not just the Arvizo allegations, but other allegations being made against him. Allegations that he had molested Macaulay Culkin. Allegations that he had molested a whole bunch of other people. The prosecution even said Mr. Robson had been molested. They said Brett Barnes had been molested. I started my case with 3 of these young men getting up under oath, voluntarily traveling to Santa Barbara, California.
Fact.
2 of them one from overseas, one from Australia, and all saying he never touched me, he never abused me, he's my friend. I saw these allegations collapse one after another in that courtroom. I saw the Chandler allegations collapse. I saw other allegations collapse. I saw from morning till evening what happened when jurors watched witnesses examined by the prosecutor, then cross-examined by the defense attorney. And at the end of those 5 months, I came to an absolute conclusion, which I'd already come to before the trial started. But it was even stronger at the end of that trial when this very conservative jury in a very law and order town with a very high conviction rate, very conservative credentials.
You know what he means by when he's saying conservative, right? I don't know what if y'all missing what he's saying, but he's saying here's a black man in an all-white jury with a district attorney's office who literally, this is what they do. They send people to jail. He's so good. And I beat him because there was no evidence. I want to get somebody who has a high conviction rate. If it's your conviction rate, you know what I'm saying, is 97%. I'm that 3%. That's me. That's who I am. Because they didn't have nothing. You sent 70 cops over to my man's house, found nothing. You have all your star witnesses folding like lawn chairs, over here on the witness stand. I got people who actually that you want to know saying that this man never did anything. You're lost. And it's so flabbergasted because what did I say earlier? He's black. No matter how much you think about his skin, vitiligo and all of that. He's black and he's powerful and he won. And you're not supposed to win. I mean, hell, Michael said that on the Wiz. You can't win. You can't break even. You can't get out the game. Michael beat the game. Not Triple H. You know what I mean? And not Twister. I know some of y'all was thinking about Twister.
And very bright. I saw them go not guilty 14 times. And that experience seared into my soul.
That's
very strong
I can agree with that,
Michael
Yolanda.
Jackson never molested anyone. Michael Jackson had an affinity for children. He never had a childhood. He wanted to be good to children because he had the financial resources to do it. He built an amusement park. He built a zoo. He invited inner city children. He invited disabled children. He paid for children for surgeries around the world.
He did.
Kids who were in trouble financially and had disabilities. He did so many good things. And to try and turn that around into making him a horrendous criminal was really tragic. And I think it had a lot to do with shortening his life.
Do you think if he was still alive, do you think these people would now be coming out and saying the same thing, that he molested me?
I just don't know. I mean, I think I have to believe these are financially motivated accusations. I have to believe that.
Yep.
Because how else can you explain it? I take that into account too. But I personally am not involved in their civil lawsuits. I've not represented anybody in them. I've not been present for any of the proceedings. I don't know who said what in those cases. I just know the evidence that I saw. And that leads me to a very powerful conclusion that Michael Jackson never abused a child at any time, never tried to hurt a child.
Fact.
We had testimony in the trial that he said he would slit his wrists before he would hurt a child.
I just find it fascinating that you're so insistent on this a long time after the trial has finished. I find that very powerful. But I find it interesting too, from just coming back full circle to what we were saying about representing people. Everyone has to have a decent representation. There's no doubt about that. I'm not arguing that. And I agree with you. That's the way the legal system functions properly. But, I note with interest, you defended Bill Cosby. Now, you wouldn't be saying the same thing about Bill Cosby, would you?
I think Bill Cosby's innocent. I don't think Bill Cosby molested or abused.
You still think he's innocent?
I absolutely do. I don't believe that Bill Cosby molested anybody. Again, every time I look at these accusations under a microscope, I see things that the press doesn't report.
Yeah.
And I see things that the public doesn't know.
Facts.
And you take into account when these accusations were made. You take into account what time period they concern. And I sat through that trial, and I believe Mr. Cosby's innocent, and I always will.
What did Lonzo do in Training Day? Boom. I'm just saying, if it's coming from a lawyer, it is coming from a lawyer that is saying, hey, look, I don't have nothing to lose. Here it is. Here's the evidence. Can't get mad about it. Can you play the Michael Jackson climb trees video? I tried to super chat. I don't have that video. I don't have a video of Michael Jackson climbing a tree. You said you tried to send a super chat. How much did you try to send? Let me know. Yeah, I would. It doesn't. Well, you know what? Because I was trying to hurry up and get out off of here. But I'll do this. I'll do this for you. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But after this, I got to get off because I am exhausted because I've been at work all night. All right, hold on. I can't even spell. Jeez. Let me see. Hold on real quick. Appreciate that $5 super chat. The black bleach. Give me a second. Hold on. Listen, I got you. See, why is that so preposterous? Oh, you're saying that you climbed that tree? Oh my goodness. A 40-year-old man climbing a tree. Man. I think that's what's so crazy. That's so crazy about this. Why was it so preposterous? Like, if he said I climbed a tree because it's my safe place, there's no difference between taking a dip in a lake. You know what I'm saying? If I climb mountains, if I went climbing mountains, is that preposterous? Like, seriously. Jesus. Michael went just running, but I could tell he can't be in the sun because of his vitiligo. But he went running though. He went taking off. Oh my God! I gotta turn my music up so I don't get a copyright. You know what I'm saying? Because of Michael. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me change the. Hold on. Yeah, change the song. Hold on. Just because. I had to put one of my own tracks above that just so I could stop it from copyright strikes. But my man was hyped about getting in that tree. Me personally, I'm not getting in that tree, Mike. I'm afraid of heights. I'm not getting in the tree, Mike. If he said, you don't climb trees? No, Mike, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm afraid of falling down it. You know what I mean? No, Mike. I'll be missing out. I'll be like, hey, man. Yeah. I ain't mad at him though. I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, I got mad at people who did climb trees, who flipped. I couldn't stand a person who flipped. What's up, Professor Film Fam? I used to be jealous. I used to be super jealous of people who could flip. Because I couldn't flip because I was afraid of breaking my neck. So, you know what I mean? But am I mad at him? Hell no. Because you could tell he was in his safe space. That's it. You could tell he was in the safe space. Hold on real quick. So, yeah. But I ain't mad at Mike. You know what I'm saying? And he was in his element. Me personally, you know what I'm saying? I'm scared to death. So I would have been like, nah, Mike. That I'm scared of that tree, Mike. You know what I mean? But I love the fact that, you know, he was being open. He was like, I come up here to you know what I'm saying, to get knowledge and to let, you know, my creative juices flow from this tree, which is beautiful. That's a beautiful thing, though. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's nothing weird about it. They was making him weird. You know what I'm saying? That's all it really was. They were making him weird. And instead of like actually trying to understand people, now we have to understand everybody in their lifestyle. But at that time, Michael Jackson was the worst human being on the face of the planet because he wanted to climb a tree. That's ridiculous, that is. You know, but you know what's not ridiculous? Well, you know.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
What's that up, B?
I've been on here for over 2 hours and a brother is tired. But I think I might. I'm still debating if I'm gonna do a live stream tomorrow. Especially when we could go over a documentary. You know, I'm not for sure. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am tired and I need to go get some rest. So yeah, but. What did you guys think about this? What did you think about the lawyer? Did the lawyer answer the questions? Y'all put it in the comment section below and let me know, you know, kind of what you guys think. Because, I mean, personally, for me, I think the lawyer did an amazing job with this. I think what the lawyer had to say was factual. I think he was matter of fact. He was direct. And you know, I wouldn't dispute it. And then for the simple fact he even doubled down on Bill Cosby. Just saying. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all guys think. Because I got to get up out of here, man. I'm not going to lie, man. I am falling apart as we talk. But again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can never, ever, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'm gonna holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe power, man. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. And if I don't see y'all, enjoy your weekend. Where's my outro at? Look, I'm sleepy. And you already know I gotta go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.